Okay, so the class is being recorded.
Sir.
The class is being recorded, huh? So today we will be reading
Okay, sir.
about Bengal partition. And in the last class, I told something about something regarding the difference between the texture of Bengal partition and the partition in the Punjab border. The thing is that regarding Bengal, regarding Bengal, it is very different. While you think about Punjab, it's very evident that within 3 or 4 years, everything got settled down. Obviously it took time, but most of the things were settled down within 3 or 4 years. But on the other hand, in Bengal, it was thought that the Bengali people, because they were so much accustomed with living together, the Hindus and the Muslims, the partition would not have any kind of impact. Okay. It was thought that the mass deportation that happened in Punjab will not occur in Bengal.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Just let me speak because I am in the middle. Okay. Antima, just mute your mic. It's easier for me. So the thing is that whenever you look at Bengal, you find that at the very beginning, the government was reluctant about considering the fact that there was really a need of any kind of attention to be paid at the Bengal border, because they thought that Hindus and Muslims in Bengal, they're accustomed, therefore no such deportation or will happen, or if it happens, that will be much less in number. But the thing is that, in Bengal or in the Bengal border, the deportation started much earlier. Okay, there are different layers. Today, before in the next class, we will be beginning the short stories. So before that, let me tell you, let me speak something about the deportation, the migration that took place in Bengal. There are so many layers. The thing that you have to know is that from almost 1943, or rather I would go back to 1941, when Bengal saw a kind of drought, so many people died. Since 1942 and 43, you will find that settlement started beginning. The Muslims, they were the Muslims and the Hindus both, especially the upper class and the educated people. They were in the vicinity of education, politics, newspapers, and practically they were able to gauge that the partition was evident. If not today, then a few years later. So, when people have money, they want security. So when it was already, it was a peaceful situation. People started exchanging their properties, and what it was like exchanging properties, Bangladeshi rich people, those Hindus, they started exchanging properties with the rich Muslims in Kolkata.
All over internet.
তারপর ওটা হচ্ছে না
আমার হয়ে গেছে তো
আফ্রিদি, what is
কিভাবে দিয়ে
happening?
ওইটা টিপবো নাকি জয়েনিং অডিও?
হ্যাঁ, কল এবার ইন্টারনেট করতে হয়, দিয়ে উপরে দেখবি মাইক চিহ্ন অন আছে কি নেই।
আমার মাইক চিহ্নটা দেখাচ্ছে না তো।
হ্যাঁ, তো অন কর, না হলে তো হবে না।
মাইক চিহ্নটা কিভাবে অন করব?
আফ্রিদি,
কারণ তো আমার মাইক অফ আছে তো।
মিউট ইউর মাইক।
সর্বনাশ করেছে, আমার মাইক অন আছে।
Okay.
ওকে মেসেজ
car problem হচ্ছে? Okay, so can we again begin? Okay, so it happens, you know, this type of things happens. So the thing is that Shashwat, okay, Shashwat. I think he was the person having the problem. So what happened was that at the very beginning, the exchange of property happened between the rich people. The Muslims from Kolkata decided that it was better because India is going to be, if the partition happens, India is going to become a Hindu prone or Hindu majority country. Therefore, it will be better to shift in the East Pakistan side, or rather, because it was said that those part of Bengal will be called East Pakistan and it will be included in uh, the Islamic country of Pakistan. So therefore, they thought that a shifting was better. And the Hindus in Bangladesh, or rather East Pakistan now, they thought about settling in and around Kolkata. So you can understand, and this you must know while you read Alam's Own House. Okay, this is the background of Alam's Own House. So this type of exchange started happening at the very, almost from 1943-44, especially around 46 when the Great Calcutta killing happened. And because these were rich people, you know, who were exchanging their properties, so many people, almost these were the landlords, অনেক ক্ষেত্রে এরা ছিল জমিদার. So what happened, along with them, so many people migrated who practically depended on these families. Like, you know, if an aristocrat Hindu family moved from Dhaka to Kolkata, along with them, those who used to work as servants in their family, those who used to work as purohit in their family, those who used to work as dhaki during their pujo, those who used to work as laborers in their uh, land, these people also came with them. So a family shifting, a rich family didn't only mean shifting the rich people only. Afridi, just mute your mic. Thank you. So this happened, you know, this happened. And the same happened with the Muslims. And along with them, those people who used to work in their households also shifted in Bangladesh. And do you think that these people were only, those who shifted from Bangladesh to India, were only Hindus? No. Like, you know, those among the servants, especially those people who used to, I'd say, make clothes, like these people, the sewers, দর্জি, তাঁতি, এরা কিন্তু অনেকেই মুসলিম ছিল, ঠিক আছে? মানে রিচ হিন্দুদের সঙ্গে অনেক ক্ষেত্রেই we can see that poor Muslims are coming to Calcutta as well. Because these Muslim families, as well as along with the other Bengali servants, these other Hindu servants, these Muslim servants or families also were dependent on that rich Hindu family for their regular money or for their income. On the other hand, same happened, those Hindu poor class people who were dependent on these families for their household or for their household work and for their bread, those Hindu families who were dependent on these rich Muslim families, they also shifted to Bangladesh. So you cannot say that shifting was a very straightforward thing. Only Hindus came from that side and only Muslims shifted from this side. No, this was not the thing. You know, so many Muslims came from that side and so many Hindus went to that side. So that was the texture that you have to keep in mind while you read partition literature. And the thing was that this happened before independence. Yeah, even when independence happened and partition happened in 1947, you know, those poor Hindus in Bangladesh, or rather East Pakistan, and those poor Muslims in West Bengal, who were mainly working as land laborers, farmers, they thought that they were dependent on land, and therefore rather they will not have to move. They will not have to move, they will not have to cross border. But I mean, almost you can understand that in 1947 also the mass migration did not happen in Bengal border. But after 1949, when there was Noakhali riot, there was the riots in different parts of Bihar and West Bengal. At that moment, suddenly it happened that even the laborer class were identified according to their religion. Because, I told about the politics that were played in the name of religion during those days. And as a result, what happened? Even these farmers who had nothing to do with the politics, even who had nothing to do with religion as well, these peoples, they do not depend on religion. They rather depend on their working ability, working capability. But suddenly they found that the Indian land was really risky for the Muslims, and the East Pakistan land was really risky for the Hindus. And then after 49, the mass migration of the lower class people, economically lower class. For Hindus, most of them were SC and STs, scheduled castes, okay, scheduled tribes. These people started migrating. So the main problem that occurred in Punjab just in and around 1947 started happening in Bengal after 49, and it continued, because the border problem was never quite earnestly addressed by the government. The border was never rather guarded by the government. Whenever people found chance, or whenever the situation became very aggressive religiously, very riotsome, people started crossing border, people continued crossing border. Like when the Hazrat Bal event happened in 1962, in 1956, in 1970s during the Bangladeshi Liberation War. This type of migration continued to happen, and even still now, depending on the socio-economic condition of the border area, or rather because of the illegal economical activities, these type of migrations continue to happen. And even situations are really aggressive at some parts. While in India, the Muslims are feeling insecure, in Bangladesh, the Hindus are feeling insecure. So these type of migrations are continuously happening. Moreover, Kolkata is a better economical hub than Dhaka. So therefore, so many, even if they are Muslims, so many of the Bangladeshi people prefer to come to Kolkata for trade and business. And often, because crossing the border in proper way is really a tiresome as well as expensive procedure, the middle class and the lower class people who are involved in this works and business, they try to afford a kind of illegal procedures. So, while you read Bengal partition stories, you have to keep in mind that the impact of Bengal partition has not ended. The impact of Bengal partition has not ended. It is a continuous process. People are still crossing borders, and as a result of it, the government is taking measures. The socio-economic things are getting controlled by the migration, and so many political issues are being raised. NRC, NCR, CAA, there's so many political unrest. So therefore, while you read the Punjab partition stories, you may consider that partition is a thing of past in Punjab side. But in Bengal side, still it is very much significant, very much alive a problem. So you have to keep this thing in mind while you read partition short stories of Bengal. Okay. And the next thing that I come to is the short stories. So first you have learned about partition, then you have to consider about short stories. So there is a famous saying by Rabindranath Tagore, "Shesh hoyo hoilo na shesh." So a short story is like a fictional prose narrative which will narrate you a plot that will have a certain time span, but when it ends, it leaves so many things to be thought upon, to focus upon, and to be thought by the reader. Those who are reading the story will have to think about it. So many things will be left unsaid that you have to think for yourself. So about modern short stories, my suggestion is that do not think like everything is said. Rather, while you read the modern short stories, focus on which questions are being raised by the author and how they are addressed, and which of them are not addressed yet, why they are not addressed. Finding these answers will be your focus. Not only what have been said, but also what can be said or what can be thought upon will be your primary, rather, focus of reading. Okay, and now let us think about some pertinent features of the partition short stories. For that, I will refer to you a book. This is the book. This is the book. The book is named. It is a journal. Of this book is called Partition মানবাধিকার গণতন্ত্র ও সাহিত্য সংখ্যা জার্নালটার নাম হচ্ছে উজাগর and there I will refer to one practical essay by Borendu Mondol. Borendu da is very much known to me. আমার সঙ্গে Borendu দার কথা হয়. Borendu da partition নিয়ে one of the most pertinent experts at this moment. Borendu da যাদবপুরের. So Borendu দার there is an essay দেশভাগের সাহিত্য যেভাবে পড়ি. That is how we should read partition literature. And there he speaks about how to read partition, and he's saying that there are two types of partition writing. There are two types of partition writing. There are messages. Okay, chat box में message आया है. Not able to hear anything, Vishal. Sir, voice केटे जाच्छा. Now you can listen to me. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the thing is that in this essay, particularly in this essay, Borandoda says that there are two types of partition narratives. One that was one which were written during the partition years, just during 1947 and during 1950s, while the things were happening, while the things were in process. And another partition narratives are written from memory, cultivating memory. Okay. And according to Borenduda, those experiences which were written just at the time of partition are not deeply thought. These are experiences which are not deeply thought or not deeply focused upon. Just the experiences are narrated, and really the deeper impact of partition on history, on psyche, on society cannot be gauged from them. Rather, what you can say, like, I'm saying this because one of your story, Manik Bandyopadhyay's Final Solution or Upay, is this type of story. You can just get a personal experience and the narrative of an experience, something which is happening, and nothing more than that. While if you read those stories like Alam's Own House, Dibyendu Palit has written, those which were contemplated, which were thought upon, and those which narrate the memory, this type of memories, what are these memories? First, I must focus upon what are these memories. There are many types of memories. One is the present memory, and if you focus on memory, then you can understand that there are the first generation memories, the second generation memories, and the post memories. Like partitions memories কিভাবে কাজ করে এটা যদি একটু জানি, those who directly experience partition, they are of two generations. One who were elder, who could realize the experience. Their memory is very different. They can narrate, or after 30 years of partition, they can understand the effect of it in their life, in their society, and their narrative will focus on that. On the other hand, there are the first-hand experience holders who were juvenile during that time. That means they will have brief experience, a diluted experience, which will form to something, gathering the information from their elders. So it will construct from both direct experience, but the impact it held will be said or will be guided by their elders. মানে ঘটনাটা ওরা দেখেছে, but what happened, why it happened, why they had to move, at that moment they didn't realize that. They only realized that when they listened to it from their senior generations, the first generation, who were at that moment elderly people, or rather matured people, who could understand the impact of it. So we can find these two types of direct experiences. One, the experience by the matured people, and another, the experiences by the juvenile people. So these type of memories are different. The first generation memory of the matured people will be prominent, and the second generation people, their narrative of the experience will be a kind of diluted memory or diluted experience, which will take a shape only after it is guided by their previous generation who had the direct impact in their mind. On the other hand, now after almost 70 years of partition, at this moment, People like you only think about partition, listening to them from the text, listening to them from the audiovisual clippings, or listening to them from your family member. Isn't it? Listening to them, or if any of your family are the victims of partition, or even if you have, or if your family has always been here, even from your Thakuma or Mashima or Pishima, you can learn what happened during those years, during those days. But that will never be your direct experience. But in your mind, an imaginative picture will form about the experience which were gathered by your parents or your grandparents. So it will consist, or it will construct a memory in your mind too. But that memory is not yours. It is a part of the memory of your father. It is a part of the memory of your grandmother. And this memory will not be guided by your experience, but will be guided by their experience, or rather their realization of their experience. You know, they will narrate to you not only what happened, but they will narrate to you in a way they found it. So that means their point of view, their understanding will form your experience, your understanding, and a part of memory in you. This is called post memory. Okay, this is called post memory, which is formed after one's direct experienced memory. ওকে সো এই পোস্ট মেমোরির এক্সপেরিয়েন্সটার জন্য আমি বলবো এই বইটা থেকে আব্দুল কাফির লেখা একটা এসে আছে। যদি কেউ পাস কখনো এই বইটা, নৈশব্দের গ্রন্থি এবং দেশভাগের সাহিত্য, সত্তার অনন্ত বিভাজন, you can read that, and you know এখানে না আমি এই সত্তার অনন্ত বিভাজন থেকে একটা ছোট্ট এক্সপেরিয়েন্স পড়ে
सर ये सब इंग्लिश वर्जन है।
ये बंगाली में है, but in I would say that after a few moments I will be telling some name of the books which are also found in English. Okay, so just note them down. Those who can read in Bengali, you can read this book, Partition, Manavadhikar, Ganatantra, Sahitya Sankha by Ujagor. Please procure it. It can easily be achieved from College Street. This is a good book on partition. It's a good read. Or then if you cannot, when the college opens, I will be giving you this book at college. Just make a Xerox of it. Okay. Or maybe if you want, I can scan it and I can upload the essays in your YouTube. Sorry, in your WhatsApp. And then another book for the Bengali students, this one, this is called Udbastu by Ashish Hira. Itihashe o Akhane. This book by Gangchil. It's a good book. You need to read. And for every one of you, this book, Spoils of Partition by Joya Chatterjee. This is a must read to know about Bengal partition. Okay, Bengal and India 1947 to 1967. This book by Oxford. This is a very costly book, so I have the PDF version. Within tonight I will be sending that in your WhatsApp group, okay, or in Google Classroom I will upload them.
अच्छा है, मैं सेंड कर दूं?
हाँ, this Spoils of Partition. Do you have this book on Ontima?
सर पीडीएफ है, आपने दिया?
हाँ मैंने दिया था तुम्हें ना, तो उसको तुम एक काम करो, ग्रुप में सेंड कर दो, हम गूगल क्लासरूम में भी अपलोड कर देंगे, ठीक है?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Then this book is a good book. This is The Partition of Bengal, Fragile Borders and New Identities by Debjani Sengupta. Okay, this is also a good read. And then Train to India, Molay Krishna Dhar. This is a narrative of their crossing border from Bangladesh and coming to India. Okay, this book is a good book. This can be achieved. This can be achieved from Amazon. It is a penguin book, Train to India, almost like an answer to Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. Okay, almost an answer to Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. So all this. Okay, sorry. Suddenly I got off. Okay, so you can listen to me, please. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So just let me again record this. Okay, it's recording already. The thing is that let me share screen again. Share screen. Share. So these books are what you need to study. So I will be providing you certain other notes, and I will be giving a link to a Bengal partition archive. Just go to that, watch the videos there, and gather the experience they have. Mostly these are post memories. Okay, so this will be good for you. And another thing is. Okay, these two PDFs we have to read. Alam's Own House, Alam in Nature Bari by Bindu Palit. This is taken from the book by Bashwi Fraser. Okay, so this one is the authentic version. Do not depend on those which you get from your Bardwan collective book. Okay, these versions are very bad. I have provided you. Have I provided you this as PDF? Can anyone tell me? Have I already provided you Alam's Own House as PDF? Hello, Swarnendu?
सर मैंने मांगा था ना तो मुझे आपने दिया था
Okay,
Sir,
so
বলুন।
হ্যাঁ এই বইটা কি তোদের দিয়েছিলাম গ্রুপে? যদি না দিয়ে থাকি
দিয়েছিলেন
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে আমি আবার পাঠিয়ে দেবো এটা, ঠিক আছে?
ওকে স্যার, ওকে স্যার।
Alam's Own House and this book, The Final Solution. Okay, this is from Map Making, the Partition Stories by Bengali Gangopadhyay. So this book is also a very good book, and these two stories we have to read, and these two versions we have to read. Okay, so from the next class we will go into the text. I hope you have understood about the context of partition. I think you have understood about the context of partition and what we are going to read. If you have any question, then you may directly voice message me. Okay, if you have any question, you can directly voice message me, and all your friends who could not join the school class, and all of you who could not do the class because of the problem of internet, be assured that this class is getting recorded. Okay, this class is getting recorded, and obviously it will be given to you. The recording will be given to you. Okay. The recording will be given to you. The link will be given once it is uploaded.
Yes, sir.
It will be given. So don't worry about that. Okay, so this is I think this is all for today. Next week we will start reading the stories. Today I will not begin. I will provide you the text. You just go through it. Anything, Antima?
सर देवजानी सेन गुप्ता की बुक का नाम क्या बताया आपने?
देवजानी सेन गुप्ता का बुक का नाम वो the book is called The Partition of Bengal, Fragile Borders and New Identities. This one. Okay, you can see this. Okay, this is the book.
Sir.
বলো
স্যার আর আর্টিকেল গুলো আগের দিন ক্লাসের যে আর্টিকেল গুলো না দাঁড়া আগের দিনের ক্লাসের, হ্যাঁ এটা খুব ভালো বলেছিস। আমি ল্যাপটপটা অন করেছি, আমি আজকেই পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে, ঠিক আছে? আগের দিনের ক্লাসে যা যা ছিল আমি আজকে একটু বাদে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ গ্রুপে পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি, ঠিক আছে? হ্যাঁ 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 একদম একদম আকৃতি আমি পাঠিয়ে দেবো, এক্ষুনি পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ গ্রুপে, তোদের সবটাই পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি আগের দিনের যেগুলো দেখতেছিলাম। ওকে,
ठीक है सर, दीजिएगा।
हाँ क्या बोला?
सर
सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है चैट बॉक्स।
पिक मांग रही है।
क्या मांग रही है?
पिक्चर सारा।
हाँ पिक्चर सारा।
যে বলবেন নাম বলবেন ওইগুলোর পিকচার দিতে বলছে।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, পাঠিয়ে দেবো আমি, আমি অ্যামাজনে লিংক গুলোই দিয়ে দেবো তোদের, ঠিক আছে? আমি অ্যামাজন লিংক গুলো ডাইরেক্টলি পোস্ট করে দেবো। ওকে, সো দিস ইজ ফর টুডে, হ্যাঁ? This is for today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. This is all for today. Thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Thank you everyone. Okay.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, ওয়েলকাম। এবার সবাই একটু সবার মুখগুলো একটু দেখে ফেলতো, একটু দেখে নি সবার মুখগুলো, কতদিন দেখি না। ওকে, নাইস টু সি এভরিওয়ান। চলো, গুড। শাশ্বতকে অনেকদিন বাদে দেখলাম, আবার ফ্রেঞ্চ কার্ড দাঁড়িয়ে রেখেছে ছেলে। সো ওকে, ठीक है, चलो। सूरज, कैसे हो बेटा? ठीक है, ओके। सो
আপনি কেমন আছেন?
আমি তো ভালো আছি বাবু, তোমরা কেমন আছো? তোমরা সব ঠিক আছে তো?
স্যার আমরা একদম ঠিক আছি।
ব্যাস।